Hey everyone, in this video we will be breaking down how OpenAI writes prompts and see what we can learn. About a month ago, OpenAI released a feature called Study Mode, which helps students learn and study for tests and quizzes and homework and things like that. And the feature was basically created with a prompt, and that prompt leaked, so we can see how it was constructed. Before we do jump into looking at the prompt, I will just show how this feature works really quickly. So basically you can access it here and ask something you're studying. I already set something up before this just to save time and pretended I was in 5th grade American history. So if you ask in study mode an open-ended question, like the Declaration of Independence, it will come up with some concise, helpful information at the appropriate grade level that you can review, and then it'll keep carrying on to continue helping you learn. Then if you were to take something like a set of multiple choice questions that are like your homework and put them into study mode, ChatGPT will not give you the answers. And that's because when ChatGPT just gives you the answers to questions like this, it hinders your learning process. And so this feature is kind of a way to prevent ChatGPT from hindering people from learning things, but still getting the useful information to continue to study, which is cool. So here are these questions. When I asked it about these questions, it didn't give me the answers in study mode. And then I put the same questions in without study mode, and you can see like ChatGPT will just give the answers to each question. So that's the idea. And so let's check out the prompt. So over here on the right, you can see this prompt, and I'm going to have this webpage I'm looking at it linked, and just a copy of the prompt linked in the bio if you want to pause the video to read it. There are 5 parts to the prompt. There's the context, the strict rules, things you can do, tone and approach, and then an important section. We'll go through each. We'll start with these first 2. So the first section is context. Context is really important when creating prompts in general. And this section is basically just telling the AI the situation you're in is that someone is studying. And also it's really, really important to follow the rules below. So that's the main context. Then you have strict rules. These are kind of tailoring or kind of narrowing the types of things that the AI model should do. It should only behave one way, which is like approachable yet dynamic, and it should make sure it gets the right information. So instead of just helping in a general way about a topic, like understand their grade level, for example, and then things like have a nice rhythm, things like that, and then don't lecture, and the big one is do not do the user's work for them. It's mentioned a few times, don't do the homework. So a lot of these are kind of making it more intentional, the experience you're going to get from study mode than the general thing. Okay, cool. Then the next 3 sections are things you can do, and these ones. So with things you can do, whereas if strict rules is kind of narrowing what the AI model can do, it seems like the things you can do rules are maybe expanding or identifying what the AI can do. So this way, it can make sure that the AI knows it can do some classic learning techniques, like practicing together, practice quizzes, guiding the user with questions, like the Socratic method, things like that. And so those kind of work back and forth with each other. And then we have tone and approach. This study mode is kind of like a teacher persona. So this section's kind of where they're defining the persona. And then finally we have the important section. And this one is, I think a big part of this feature is just trying to get ChatGPT to not do people's homework. So it's just reiterating that explicitly in all caps. And so I think altogether this prompt doesn't have anything that seems particularly magic. What I like about it is I like the structure. I feel like it's a nice, clean structure. This kind of structure is something AI models are good at understanding. I also think it's a little messy. So this prompt isn't meant for us to see it. It's supposed to just kind of exist in the background. So it doesn't necessarily need to look perfect, and it can be repetitive. I think it's a good lesson. It seems like this prompt was iterated on, and they like started with something simpler and then kept adding points where they saw bad responses until they got an experience in study mode that feels right. So I really like those aspects. And then, yeah, I think if I'm making a prompt for a similar situation, I could use this kind of structure, and it just seems like you could start with something much simpler and then build something out with some testing to get the right experience. And so, yeah, those were my takeaways. Curious if you have takeaways on this prompt and how OpenAI put it together. You can leave those in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you liked this video, and check out our intro to prompt engineering courses in the bio if you are interested in that. And yeah, thanks so much. Peace.